Hey guys, happy Sunday to everybody. This is attempt number 3 of this video. I keep getting interrupted because my other half just blows in and he's got to take our big flower pots over to where we have them filled that we decorate the front of our property with. They're just like huge, big pots, and they put a mixture of beautiful flowers and things. And now that the weather has turned beautiful, like it's got to be 75 degrees here today, and the sun was out earlier. It's getting cloudy now, a little bit cloudy, but it's still beautiful out, and it's just like in this area I feel like we jump from winter to summer, and I hope that the weather stays this way. I really do, because I keep getting whiplash from cold weather back and forth. But anyways, it's a beautiful day today. I've already spent some time outside, but I wanted to pop in and make this video for multiple reasons. I got a question on Instagram last night. Yes, I got a question from someone new to me, someone I don't know who they are. They're just a newer collector asking me questions. Somebody that I believe has followed me on Facebook and reached out and asked what was the wording of it? I don't want to butcher the question. Essentially, it was, how did I manage to get such a nice silicone doll? And so the big question is, how did I get here? How did I get to this point where I have a beautiful full body silicone, high-end full body silicone doll, especially now that it seems like they're just harder and harder to come by. There's just more collectors that want them, so you don't see them readily available even on the secondary market. It's not common, especially fully finished edition dolls by specific artists, not just Claire Taylor, but like Romy Stridham. There's certain really sought after dolls by certain artists, and they're very expensive. So this has also sparked, I wanted to talk about this because I was also watching my friend Eric Jones' channel, and she's had a couple of videos discussing this as well. So I thought, hey, I'll just jump on the bandwagon and answer this person's question, but also put it out towards anybody that's watching my videos, because I think it's hard to understand how some of us have arrived to being able to afford these high-end full-body silicone dolls. And I totally get that. I see a lot of posts on Facebook in different doll groups like, I want one, but I'll never be able to afford one. I mean, this is something we talk about all the time, about, how to work your way up and where to buy these dolls and how to get to a place where you're happy with what you're collecting. And I think that for a lot of newer collectors, they come into this hobby and they don't realize how long some of us have been collecting. This person truly doesn't know much about me, I don't believe. And I can tell you that most people that stumble across my channel, unless you watch for a long period of time and stick with me, you don't necessarily know that I've been collecting for more than 20 years of these I don't want to call them high-end, because back when I first started collecting, they weren't really high-end price-wise. They seemed like it at the time. But it took me a really, really long time. It didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen immediately. And for most collectors, it doesn't happen immediately. Most of us don't have those available funds to initially invest, especially when you're new, trying to figure out what it is you even like. I mean, they're intriguing to people, and I see lots of newer collectors just diving in and wanting to get the very best immediately. And for those out there that really want the best of the best right when you start out in collecting, it takes patience. It takes a lot of learning. It takes a lot of finagling to come up with the right amount of money, and timing is everything in this hobby. I have told so many people this, timing is everything. Sometimes it's meant to be and it works out, and other times it's not meant to be and it does not work out. And that was a hard lesson for me to learn very early on in my collecting, is that I didn't always get the doll that I wanted. And so I would seek out other alternatives, and eventually I figured out that people sold on those dolls later on. So there's always a chance that I could get the doll even if it's, down the road. So a lot of people stress, they get very upset when they can't, auctions. Let's use that as an example here. A lot of people, back when eBay was the only way that people were selling, if you didn't win the doll, it was depressing. Like, you just, the stress and the anxiety of, making that final bid and being the highest bidder when you make your final bid, like, there's a lot of emotions tied to those auctions. And it's still to today, like, the silent auctions would be the same way. It's like you really, there's some anxiety there. It's also why I don't care for them so much, is really because I used to get so worked up over a doll in auction that it would just stress me out for days. I'm talking days. And I would be so disappointed if I wasn't the high bid. There's just a whole range of things that happen to bring home the right doll. And that stuck with me. But I do understand wanting a doll that you love and fall in love with immediately. I totally get that, because I am an instant gratification kind of gal. I like things like now, like as in yesterday. That's just how I move in life. But I have learned to really just sit back and let things happen how they happen, especially with doll collecting. So a lot of people need to do their homework. They need to do the research. They really need to kind of figure out what they even like, because I know there are some people that went right into buying silicones and they realized they didn't even like the medium. They didn't like the feel of it. Most collectors do, but not. Silicone isn't for everybody. Also, the weight of it. So if people have bad backs and things like that, they may not enjoy the heaviness of holding a silicone. So there's lots of reasons why people may not love silicone immediately. So I always tell people to be patient, to see what you like. Start off with reborns and see what kind of body style you like, what kind, open-eyed, closed eyes. It's a lot to choose from. It seems like it'd be very basic and very simple. A sleeper or awake doll. No, there's variations. Hair type. Limbs. Do you like bent arms, straight legs, bent legs? Like, there are all different ways that there are variations to kits and things and dolls and doll types that you should work out and figure out what you like before you really spend a huge amount of money on a doll. It took me, I want to say at least 4 years before I invested in silicone. When silicone first came out on the market, because everything is silicone for a lot of collectors. A lot of people still enjoy vinyl reborns, but really the push is for full body silicones, because people like to be able to bathe them and interact with them like a real living baby and feed them, drinking wet, all of that. But let me tell you, when silicone first came on the market, I wanted nothing to do with it. It looked like it was just way too much work for me. I was afraid of it because it was a new medium. It had just come out, and I wanted to wait and see how other collectors did with them, because that's also me. I tend to wait and see how things pan out. I don't want to be the guinea pig, generally speaking, especially with high-end collectibles and very expensive dolls. And when silicones first came on the market, like the first full body silicone, I want to say was like $3,600, which was like huge amounts to me. That was, I had gotten accustomed to, I started off spending like $100 on a reborn, then it worked up to like $500, and like, $800 for a reborn was like high end reborn, but spending thousands on a full body silicone doll was like, I couldn't even imagine it. But I did it. I took the plunge, and once I had my first full body silicone, I was fully hooked. I still enjoy vinyl reborns, but to me there's just nothing like holding a full body silicone doll, because I do like the weight and I like the feel and how it warms up to the touch. But it took me years to finally invest a large amount of money. But in order to do that, I sold like almost all of my vinyl reborns, and I had a whole bunch of them because I had like been collecting for, a number of years by that point. So my point to explaining all this is that I learned to build up my collection slowly, and I bought a slightly nicer doll with each purchase that I made. And as the years went on, I just kept upgrading. But it was a very slow and gradual process for me. So when I finally started buying full body silicone dolls, I had other dolls that I could sell in order to fund the new doll. And that is the only way, because I was a single mom and with a very tight budget. So, you know, even single parents that have one income on a tight budget, you know, I still managed to save money, build up, you know, what I could invest in, you know, the more expensive dolls over time. It took me a long time. I had to be patient, but the patience paid off for me. I did manage to get pretty much any dream doll that I really, really set my heart on and I really wanted, I eventually could have. And that was through a lot of planning, a lot of budgeting, a lot of cutting back on other things to set funds aside for something I really, really wanted so that it didn't ever take away from my family funds and like household stuff. But I was able to do it because I'm persistent and I'm very diligent. When I really, really want something, I set my mind to it and I make it happen. And that's generally how I kind of approach everything I do in life. And so for me, it worked. And I want to say that for anybody out there that's frustrated, that feels like you're never going to get that high-end doll or you don't think you'll ever be able to afford it, never say never. It takes us all a period of time. Most of us don't come into this hobby collecting the highest, most expensive dolls. Some are lucky enough and fortunate enough to do that. And, you know, for those folks, that is wonderful. And I'm excited for them to be able to do that. But for most of us, we all start off with a very tight budget. And we just have to grow that budget. And over time, trust me, you guys, you will get there. You will get there. You will be able to have an opportunity to own a dream baby that you've had your eye on for however long. But you just have to be patient. You have to save your money. And that's hard to do, trust me. I'm a shopper. I like to buy lots of things all the time. But I think that if you really, really want something, you really got to just set your mind to it and do it. And just keep pushing until you get to that point. And eventually you will get there. I know that it is very frustrating for many because they really do look at this hobby as being completely out of their reach, especially the very expensive dolls. And that could be silicone, that could be vinyl, because there are reborns that go for thousands of dollars as well. And any amount of money that you spend on a collectible is a lot of money. It's money that is not necessities, you know. These are luxury items, and sometimes these luxury items take time to buy. It's the same thing like when I buy a Louis Vuitton bag. You know, I have to save up, and I usually like the limited edition releases that come out. And so I have to plan for those and set money aside. Same thing. You know, anything that's collectible, it takes time sometimes to get there. And I think that I for one am definitely very creative about figuring out ways to come up with money for things and selling different things that I don't use anymore and things like that. I've done that for years. And it's paid off, you know. And when I say timing is everything, usually when you least expect it, not when you're hunting for, but when you least expect it, the perfect doll drops in your lap. Case in point, Miss Monroe here. I was not in the market to buy a doll when she became available and was offered to me. And in fact, I thought I had currently had, before I had her, I thought I had my dream doll. I had it set in my mind that Lucy, which was the one of a kind Janica, that from Claire, the soft silicone, I thought she was it. I thought she was going to be my one and only dream baby that I would keep for a very, very long time. And then this happened. And it's a blessing. And I'm still grateful that I was able to bring her home and have her in my collection and enjoy her. This baby is everything. I wasn't expecting it. I made kind of a split decision because I needed to make a decision quickly when she became available. And I opted to take the chance and go for her. And I'm so glad I did. But that's how it is in the doll collecting world, guys. You just never know when a doll becomes available. You just never know. It happens at the most inopportune times when you least expect it. And then boom. The perfect doll drops in your lap. A doll that you've been waiting on for a long time just happens to, poof, become available. And you have to be ready. That's why I say set set the money aside. Start building those, your dolly fund, your play money, so that you can hop on those opportunities when they do arise, because they do. People do sell to buy new, so therefore it's like a trickle down. So that's how we move these dolls about the community. That's how we get opportunities to get very limited edition dolls, one-of-a-kind dolls, prototype reborns, things of that nature. They come available. They do. It just takes time, and you have to kind of be ready for it when it happens. But that's my advice. How did I manage to get here? I shared that with you. It took a long time, many years, lots of planning, lots of buying and selling to build up to where I'm at now, where I'm very, very happy with one very high-end silicone doll, one beautiful vinyl reborn, and I have a one-of-a-kind clay sculpture baby as well. And my collection feels really, really beautiful to me and perfect for me, although I need to add a boy. I'm still on the prowl for a boy. Whether it'll be a silicone or a vinyl reborn, I don't know. Time will tell, but I am thinking in the back of my mind, but I'm not in any rush, because I know when it happens, it'll happen and it'll be right for me. And I'm not going to stress about it or set a timeline or anything. It'll happen when it happens. And then I feel like my collection would be very, very complete, well-rounded, whatever you want to call it. Even though I'm very content as I am now, I still would like to have a boy. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the discussion. Hopefully Erica doesn't mind that I kind of hopped on her topic that she's been chatting about. I think it's just important for collectors just to be patient. It takes time. And you're looking at Beautiful Monroe, who is a full body silicone by Claire Taylor Dolls, and she is from the Dwayne edition. She's one of the Awake babies. And she is wearing this really sweet Little Miss Dessa snuggle set, it's a 2-piece set. And it actually matches one of my face masks that I purchased and I shared with you guys last week. Yeah, last week. And it's really beautiful. I love, love, love their prints. They're beautiful floral prints. They're just gorgeous. And it's nice and lightweight, so even in the summer when it's hot, this is very appropriate and very comfortable for a baby to wear. But anyways, guys, I hope you're enjoying your weekend. I hope the weather's great wherever you're at. Hope you enjoyed the discussion, and we will see you all soon, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.